Ma'am. Professor Elizabeth Sherian Parmesh is an educationist, public health expert, and an environment protection enthusiast. She has published several publications in national and international journals. She is a debater and a fantastic poet, as we heard one of her poems this evening. And she has her several publications in Kannada and English to add to her credit. She is a rank holder throughout her educational career in Karnataka state. She is also an art enthusiast. She has been on the committee for several government and non-governmental organizations and has been a lead research for several international research programs of the Padova University, Italy, and World Bank studies. She is the district secretary for the year 2022-23, and she's a dynamic leader and has served in various capacities in Rotary. She is the vice president, Alliance for Health Promotion, Geneva. Her noted among several awards and recognitions are Karnataka Rajyotsava Award in the year 2000 for constructive service to society in the field of education and social service. Time Power Women Award in the year 2019 for making difference to society through excellence in social entrepreneurship. National Women Changemaker Award in the year 2020 by the National Press Council of India and Newspaper Association of Karnataka. It's a pleasure to introduce you, ma'am, and I would hand it over to you for the panel discussions to carry. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandana. May I invite our esteemed panelists to please join us on stage. Rotarian Mohan Kumar KV, Dr. H. Parmesh, Mr. George Sebastian, Mr. Praveen Kumar, and Mr. Riaz Hussain. Welcome once again to all of you present here physically and on the Zoom. A special welcome to the international associations that were represented here this evening. The incoming Rotary International President, Jennifer Jones, has given the theme of Imagine Rotary. And from being the change makers in the current year, we move on to the theme of imagining the infinite possibilities of serving communities. She has also highlighted the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion that makes this conference highly relevant for Rotarians the world over. We believe that exemplifying and embracing diversity, equity, and inclusion should be a part of everything that we do in Rotary. We value diversity and celebrate the contribution of people of all backgrounds across age, ethnicity, race, color, disability, learning style, religion, faith, socioeconomic status, culture, marital status, languages spoken, sex, sexual orientation, and gender identity, as well as differences in ideas, thoughts, values, and beliefs. Recognizing that individuals from certain groups have historically experienced barriers to membership, participation, and leadership, we commit to advancing equity in all aspects of Rotary, including our community partnerships, so that each person has the necessary access to resources, opportunities, networks, and the support to thrive. Through this panel discussion, which has a group of dedicated people working in areas of inclusion and providing equitable opportunities, we intend to highlight their areas of service and also seek their views in making cities friendly for all, especially in the area of public transport. It may also be noted that BMTC for the first time is planning to introduce buses under FAME to faster adoption and manufacture of electrical vehicles in India. They plan to operate 300 non-AC electrical buses with this option of wheelchair lifting facility. It is my pleasure to introduce the panelists this evening. Our eminent panelists have been contributors in many ways to the cause, but time constraints force me to introduce them very briefly to you all, keeping in view the 30-second introduction suggestion of the Rotary International. It is my pleasure now to introduce Rotarian Mohan Kumar KV, the Charter President of Rotary Bangalore Prime, RI District 3190. Mohan represents the Ellen Meadows Prosthetic Hand Foundation, USA, as its global ambassador. In this role, over 24,000 free below-elbow prosthetic hands have been provided in India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Mauritius, Nepal, and Zambia. He is the director for South Asia for SPROF, the joint secretary for the Rotary Leadership Institute, South Asia, master trainer for India, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Nepal, Maldives, and Bangladesh. Very recently, he is recognized by Rotary International as one of the 6 champions of health in the Rotary world. In his recent role, he is spearheading the Health Education and Wellness Action Rotary Action Group Prosthetic Limbs Initiative globally. He is a survivor of tsunami, earthquake, and the corona, and he says he is happily married to Rotary. So welcome, Mohan Kumar. Over to Dr. Parmesh. He's a pediatric pulmonologist and environmentalist, the national president of the ComHAD UK in India chapter, the chairman of the Lakeside Education Trust, a visiting professor at the Divecha Center for Climate Change, Indian Institute of Science, academic council member and visiting professor, Adi Chunchanagiri University, alumni of the WHO NGO Climate Health Working Group, Geneva, WHO's spokesperson for Climate and Health, COP26 Glasgow, and the lead of the Future Earth Health-Related Sensitization of South Asia, a member of the editorial board of Current Science. His relevance of presence here is that he's a crusader of social causes and the recipient of several awards and recognitions too. Welcome, Dr. Parmesh. To introduce George Sebastian. He's currently working with Enable India, an NGO working for economic independence of persons with disability. At Enable, he's heading iLabs that has the objective of catalyzing assistive solutions and accessibility. A graduate in electronic and communication engineering, and prior to joining Enable India in 2013, he was working as an IT professional in the telecom sector. Friends, if you will Google George Sebastian, you'll find to read a lot more about him. He has been humble to tell me to only contain this much of his introduction. Welcome, George Sebastian. Welcome, Praveen Kumar, Head Business Development and Partnerships, Motivation Direct India Private Limited, a physiotherapist with 14 years of experience in the field of rehabilitation, an internationally certified trainer on the WHO Wheelchair Service Training Package, affiliated to the International Society of Wheelchair Professionals. He is responsible for development projects by facilitating community development through participatory approaches, building partnerships, organization development, leading and managing the teams. Riaz Hussain. He heads the physiotherapy services and assistive technology at Mobility India Rehabilitation Research and Training Center. They are the largest professional NGO in India, working in the ecosystem of disability, inclusive development initiatives. The Rehabilitation Research and Training Center at Bangalore is a model for accessibility and disability friendliness. In fact, the Mobility India Group was recognized by Rotary Bangalore during the Exemplar Awards this year. Now, to begin this panel discussion, may I first invite Rotarian Mohan Kumar, who will tell us about his interest in creating a world of difference to people who have differently abled situations, and how his journey has been until now. Following that, we will ask him about his vision for the future for these differently abled people. Over to you, Mohan Kumar. May I invite you to address us and tell us your views? You could even use the mic there if you want.
Very good evening to all. Even though I don't have direct contribution to the accessibility perspective from a transport perspective, I do have enough of experience working with the differently abled. It so happened in the year 2007, there is a foundation in the US called Ellen Meadows Prosthetic Hand Foundation. They were looking out for a partner in Bangalore and in India as to who could reach out the below elbow mechanical prosthetic hands. We were the ideal choice because till date, I've been involved with a Rotary Club, which has been consistently providing the below knee, above knee, crutches, calipers, wheelchairs, tricycles. We've done about 875 polio corrective surgeries, 70 hip replacement surgeries, and all these limbs and other accessories we have provided at no cost to over 45,000 people so far. So being the obvious choice, this foundation came and then said, no, why don't you take the initiative from a Rotary Club perspective? A couple of years in India, we just took this in the yearly camp that what we conducted. And it so happened in the year 2010-11, I happened to go to Thailand for our international convention, had a one-to-one discussion with the management of the Ellen Meadows Prosthetic Hand Foundation. And there my journey started. I have traveled a length and breadth across the country, creating capacities, creating education, and sometimes even creating the necessary education. Why do you think the knowledge itself is a barrier? If you take more than 75% of the people who are differently able in India, they're in the rural parts. Leave alone access to any form of prosthetics, they don't even have access to knowledge of what to do post the loss of a limb. That itself was quite a challenge. So we went about creating this education process. And yes, there were quite a few challenges. These prosthetic limbs are provided at no cost. We were able to leverage upon the biggest asset of Rotary, that's our network. In fact, we are very proud to say Rotary is one of the biggest skill banks in the world because our work is voluntary in nature. So to this, when we actually went down to the grassroots levels, we found out that even the government till date does not have database in terms of this differently abled people for whatever be their needs. Just in the last couple of years, things have started changing. So we devised our own mechanisms to reach out to these people. It was quite a challenge. Different things work in different parts of India. Some places we used storyboards in newspaper. Some places we went to radio. Some places we had TV talk shows. In some places, we actually sent 3 people on motorbike for 3 months publicizing the project. But at the end of the day, it's been such a proud moment that we've been able to address 12% of India's below elbow prosthetic hand requirements. 12%. That's the power of Rotary. So today what is happening is, from what we have achieved, it's very common for us. The government has started speaking to us. We had the governor of Odisha speak to us. We had the chief minister of Nagaland. We had the governor of Nagaland. Many governors and chief ministers have started speaking to us, telling that, why don't you take this up in my constituency or my particular hometown or state as such. So what we have done is a very simple low-cost model where all the Rotarians contribute their time. 15 years back, people used to travel almost about 1,000 to 1,500 kilometers to access this prosthetic hand. Today, we've been able to narrow this down to just about 100, 150 kilometers. We set up more than 30 plus permanent centers, where these centers are operational across from a Rotarian's office, right? Or from their individual homes, or in some places, some institutions. So at any given point of time, 24/7, we have this accessibility. And another thing that worked in our favor, like the polio eradication program of Rotary, is our collaborative approach. So we worked with NGOs, we worked with the government, we worked with so many people, and then we were able to even bring out innovation in the product. For example, if you take in the second wave of the pandemic, we virtually launched this project in Mauritius. And later, we signed up with the University of Mauritius to ensure that there is an enhancement in the functionality of the product. The Prime Minister of Mauritius himself has committed that the functionality of the product, once it gets enhanced, will be rolled out to the common man at no cost. So we are able to leverage upon this partnership. Recently, we had a camp in Chandigarh on November 14. We partnered with the Chandigarh University, and Punjab as a state is one of the most mechanized state. And because of that, the safety incidents are very high. My dear friends, in just 2 days, we had 1,279 prosthetic hands given. Nowhere in the world these things are achieved. Nowhere. Even this foundation where I represent this as a global ambassador across 82 countries, India is #1 in the world. Something has worked in India. So we are proud, we want to enhance, and we would like to reach the unreached, and we would like to partner with as many people as possible to ensure at the end of the day, we have a disabled-free country and the world at large. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohan. He is a man with a mission. If you will Google him or look at the Facebook, you will see every day that he is out there giving out these limbs and making people functional. He's making a difference to so many people across the world, and none better than him to address us this evening. Thank you, Mohan Kumar. I move on to Praveen Kumar. Praveen, from Motivation Direct India. I'd like to ask you to tell us how exactly you work to create a difference to the people with challenges and what your vision for them is for the future. Over to you, Mr. Praveen Kumar. You could speak from there also.
Thank you so much. Everybody can hear me? Yeah. Let me just talk more about us, what we do, and how exactly it related to the public transport. So we as in a global organization works closely 160 countries across the globe, the name called Motivation. I'm sure that within some minutes, I'll be able to motivate all of you. No worries. That's my role. That's why they're paying me. And by profession, I'm a physiotherapist. Last 14 years, I'm working with this sector in making people ability. Inside the hospital, make sure that with my physiotherapy, I will be able to make sure that they are able. But once they come out from the home or maybe from the hospital, they are really, again, differently abled because of what we are talking today, topic called transport, accessibility, public, private, home, everywhere. Are you agree with me? Yes, that's how we are here, still differently abled, including me. Am I right? Just now, I saw in front of this particular office, there are many potholes, which is making me very difficult, even though I'm young, energetic, therapist, but still I have to be so conscious. Imagine a person with disability, what will happen for them? So that's the basic idea for making me and motivating me to work more and more collaboratively with the major NGOs who are eminent speakers here sitting here, and make sure that the globe will be very accessible. And particularly, I'm from India, so I have to say my country will be accessible. And again, I'm from here, my Karnataka will be accessible. Again, I'm here in Bangalore, Bangalore will be accessible. Agree with me? So that's the beauty, that's passion, which makes me to be talk, inspire, and make this problem aware for everybody. I don't see today when Arvind has said that, Praveen, you're going to talk a transportation in public transportation for person with disability. I think I was laughing at me. No, I'm not going to talk for only person with disability. I'm going to talk for universal accessible issue. Everybody agree with me and stay with me that everybody have accessibility issues in public transport. Yes? None of our buses or none of our autos or none of our cab or train or metro are not really accessible for any citizen. Any citizen in India, make sure this is the reality. We are living in this reality and we are not really sharing by everyone. We share, such platform comes, but even we not share in home. Even we will not share in our own family. This is the issue. Then only the issue will be majorly aware and people will be responsible, every citizen. So that is the basic vision, what I have, what I had the passion to compete with this particular area, because everybody will go with the blaming game. Everybody agree with me that once we say accessibility issue, somebody will blame about VMTC, somebody will blame about BBMP, somebody will blame about government or anybody. But the problem is awareness. The problem is innovation. The problem is acceptance by all of us. We will not accept by us that there is a issue. Yes, everybody know, but come and talk, come and share. Then this issue will be more and more aggressive. Then the policies will come in. So our eminent speaker said that UNCRPD and there are many national schemes has been done by our government of India, but still we are looking for some kind of difficulties. So what I suggest, I think with this, everybody will accept me. I'm creating a more and more awareness to the cab drivers, for the autos, for the trains, for the government amenities and the disabilities and their families and the rehab professionals, along with every Indian citizen will make easy, quick, accessible, inclusive India. That's the beauty we will expect, at least at the earliest, all of you. And one interesting thing I wanted to tell you, by 2050, India is going to be an older India. Everybody aware that more than 50% our population is aging up to 50 years. It means everybody need accessibility. And already 77 millions or person with disabilities are struggling accessing a public transport, struggling accessing a small auto or auto rickshaw. So what I mean to say is, for everybody, patience is required, and accept their disability and respect them, and please make sure that they are also part of our community. So that's how I expect an inclusive transportation system for every Indian citizen is their right to receive that. So hope I was telling this, I am telling, I am going to tell, but today with this stage, we will tell, we are going to tell. So I have a huge crowd here, online and offline. So we will pledge that we are going to make this awareness and create inclusive India. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Praveen. It sounded more like a motivational speaker, don't you think so? And I'm sure that his patients are getting well, not just with the physiotherapy, but with his motivational words. Thank you, Praveen. Now I invite George Sebastian. He actually has had even a stint with the armed forces. Something to do with them? No? Okay. So he has been working for eLabs, as I told you, and catalyzing assistive solutions and accessibility. So he's from Enable India. Over to you, George Sebastian, to tell us what you do and what you envision for people with disability.
Good evening, all of you. So to talk about Enable India, let me give a small brief about what Enable India does. So we work for, Enable India work for economic independence of persons with disability, and that is primarily through employing them in jobs. And what you can see, I mean, you have already heard from Rotarian Uday Bhaskar that about Shanti Raghavan, who has been leading these efforts at Enable India. So we have the privilege of meeting her almost every day and getting to learn from her how these kind of enablement can happen on a daily basis. So when you look at a person with disability in a job, we always think about an ecosystem, but at the same time, we also have to think about an individual journey. A person who is born with a disability, how is he going to get into a job? Now, when somebody has to get into a job, I mean, he has to go through the entire journey of childhood, his education, his interview process, and finally get into the employment where he's going to go and work. And he may have a family later. And in all these cases, these accessibility will be an important factor. Now, how we can travel along with this person in this entire journey. And that becomes very, very critical when we want to take him to that final goal of his livelihood and his goals for his life. So we work very closely with individuals, and we also work with companies, identifying jobs for that particular person who has that disability. What are the kind of relevant jobs that is available for them? I will just take a few examples about how we are going ahead with this, because I think some of those examples will let us feel that, make us feel that, how we, all of us, can be part of this system. In 2017, I had a person with visual impairment who came with his parents. And he was a 5th semester engineering student, and he was doing his mechanical engineering. From the discussions, I came to know that he's right now visually impaired. He lost his vision because of dengue fever. So there was no other prior issue with him when with any of his with eye issues. But just by getting into a dengue fever, he was admitted to Manipal Hospital, Bangalore, a week after he was coming out with no vision. And that is when we realized that, a person with vision, their parents was very sad, was the only son. And what he wanted was, can you convince him to get into some other course? Why should he do mechanical engineering? It was a tough decision for us also, because it is not so easy to tell them that, no, these are all fine, you will be able to, because you have to finally, somebody has to take that ownership of taking him along and making sure that, he is finally successful in his life. What we did was, the first thing we started reaching out to people, because it is not just us who can go and help him. We have to go and reach out to the university to make sure that he is finally going to get all the support and accessibility for his exams. His college staff should be supporting him because he has to do labs. Then finally, when he has to write the exams, he should get the support of scribes who may be qualified in an engineering kind of domain. All this was a challenge. And one of the other challenge was none of his books were accessible. And to make even textbooks accessible, we are finding it difficult. Simple textbooks like a language text or something. And here we are talking about science and math and engineering kind of text with a lot of diagrams. And now I'm just cut the story short. He's right now working in a company called Atkins Global, which is one of the premier multinational construction consulting company. How he's able to do that? Because he is able to get all this support. And there is a kind of ecosystem which is actually getting formed even without our knowledge. So I am not thinking that accessibility is going to be a challenge anymore. There are enough people in this world, and I always go with that 85%, 15% thing, because there are 15% with disability. But this 85% can take enough opportunity to support this 15% of the people. And in this particular case, now he is going to vouch for accessibility of buildings. And this is the kind, and what I want to specifically mention here is the users have to really come out. Because any other kind of discussions, because like right now we were talking about buses with wheelchair support. Recently, there was an incident in Chennai where a person in wheelchair was trying to get into the bus. And this particular mechanism or the wheelchair lifting mechanism was completely stuck. Why? Because it was never used. The system was there, but nobody is using it. So one of the most important thing, if there are enough people who is coming out and want that specific requirement. Now we have all kinds of requirements. We want children, they want to come and play. They're not interested in studies. They want to play different things. How are we providing accessibility for that? They want to study all kinds of things. So whether it is transportation and transportation, I mean, as all the speakers said, it's a much broader thing. But when there is a need, because I mean, when you look at most of the disabilities, they are all well educated. The challenge is they don't want to travel, or they don't know how to travel from home to office. So when the user is really coming out and vouching for all the support that is required, then accessibility is going to happen. And I think if that kind of awareness is created, because right now I have every year I get at least 200 to 300 engineering college students working on assistive technology projects. And they are working close to 20 to 30 or 40 80 projects. Most of the products, I'm not thinking that, okay, they are going to be finally productized. But it is that kind of awareness that is created, and they are understanding the value of them. And there are, in many of these cases, they are working for their family members or their grandparents to find a solution for them. So my goal, or I would, and I really want to mention this also, because 2 years back, there was a 11th standard girl who she has some kind of bowel syndrome issues. And she came to me and said that, okay, she wants to work on a project. And the project is about sensitizing airport authority to work with people with special disabilities, what Uday Bhaskar has mom said, invisible disabilities. And that is becoming a huge proportion. Because, I mean, most of the disabilities, especially in the developed world, is more of kind of mental illness and mental disabilities. So that is also another area. And it is an 11th standard student who is working on that to create that awareness. And they have already implemented some of those projects in Bangalore airport. So, okay, so that's it for now. And thank you so much for this opportunity.
George, actually, what he said made a lot of sense, because he said we need to ask for what we want. So many times when there is a disability or an issue, we tend to suppress it, hide it, cover it. We are not asking for it. So there is also the need that people utilize the facilities available to ask for more. So it's only when you recognize it, accept it, and ask for more that these changes happen. And like he said, very positively, there is a sea of change that is happening today. When you compare with the past years or past decades, there is definitely a lot of change, a lot of awareness. It's only that we need to ask and do more. Over to now Dr. Parmesh, who is working with the Divecha Center for Climate Change at the Indian Institute of Science. We'd like to have your opinions on this issue of providing accessibility in public transport, and what your vision would be for these challenged people. Over to you, Dr. Parmesh.
Ellarigu namaskara. At the outset, I sincerely extend my sincere thanks to the Rotary Ability having extended invitation for me to participate, and also the Rotary, the district conference people, Ms. Elizabeth Cherian, and thank you very much, my Home Minister. Now, and all of you speak about all the things about it. Being a medical man, I think I have to congratulate this organization because you made the right brain, left brain join together. Left brain is only think of the legal aspect, mathematics, science, physics, a lot of things. Right brain thinks of emotional issues and all these things, some storytelling, whole lot of things, think of values. This is what we have to make everybody join together to find a solution for a transport problem. Unfortunately, Transport Commissioner is not here. I wish he would have been here to hear certain things. Anyway, I think we congratulate you making this one. I am, as a medical man, in the 113 years of history of Indian Institute of Science, are the first medical research man ever been selected. And they have given me as a link. The scientists are only in their cocoon. They don't go out. They don't talk to anybody else. They don't wish also. They're in the cocoon, they do research, that's all, they go home. But I have been a link between the society and the researcher, how best we can able to propagate that one, air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, sound pollution, how the society can do that. Because the transport people in the third sector were causing a lot of pollution. This pollution is only causing a lot of disability. It has got, pollution has got from womb to tomb. It has got an impact. A lot of problem comes from the taking into that one transport. I think our the director Lalita Kumari, she mentioned about it. That she mentioned about barriers of WHO list has given. Among the transport, she highlighted one of the things. Transport is very important. What is the magnitude of transport disability? 13% of the population in the world they're having. One of the data from the US published in 2007. 13% population transport disability, only transport disability. If you look at them, which are all the age group, 5 to 20 years, 8%. 20 to 60 years, almost it comes about nearly 30%. And 60 and above comes about 62%. This is the age group. And why they are almost 61% of the people handicapped by transport disability. What is important in transport disability? What they want? Number one, the 25% they say, I think I cannot see my doctor, my healthcare, I have to depend on somebody else, 25%. 23% say, even to go to my work, I got a job, I cannot be able to travel, 23%. Another 23%, I know I need not only working as I need a psychosocial, economic burden, everything has to be there. And I need some entertainment also. I cannot meet my friends. 23% says, I cannot meet my friends. Where I exchange my views, friendship is an excellent thing. We are lacking on that one. Could you help us out in the transport? 18% said, I want to go to the sports section, entertainment. Who is not taking me? All the children also say the same thing. So having said all these things, and the India says nearly 16.15 million children are handicapped. They're handicapped mainly for 4 main components. Number 1, visual. Number 2 is the hearing. Number 3 is motility, movement is the major problem. Number 4, mental ability and all this thing. This air pollution, what is caused, not only produces defects and all these things, whole vital organs have been damaged. So transport is the one, they are the cause for all these things. They have to come forward to help these people. Now the next question is, what we can do, what Indian Institute of Science is doing. Indian Institute is doing that, educating the society as a link. We are organizing these seminars and symposiums, lectures, educating the society in the quality education in this various aspects of the pollution, and transport is one of the things. And also alternative energy, we have been doing it. So these are all the things what we have been doing. And also we are one of the 15 international universities where the air pollution, climate change. Our headquarters is in Davos, Switzerland. We have not met recently because of the COVID. We are going to, it's one of the 15 institutes all over the world which recognize them, the VHS Center. And also recently, Prime Minister draft has come from the Technology and Science, Climate Change, that the draft has sent 83 pages. I think they sent that Indian Institute of Science, the VHS Center, recognized as one of the center for the national research for the climate change. They have recognized Institute of Science. And also, I am one of the scientists involved in that one, commenting on that one. I think yesterday only I given out 5 pages, what has to be. These are all the things have been included. Education is every sector has been done that. Now, how do you mitigate this? Next question comes. Mitigation, all this problem come from the national level, international level, and local level, what we can do. So local level, we have, each one of us, we are responsible. We have to commit. Now, first comes the quality education of all the sectors who are responsible for it. Transport is one of them to help that. It comes later on. All the sector, next comes the industries, and next comes the agriculture industries, agriculture field. Third comes the transport. Fourth comes the construction. Even the hospital, we contribute carbon footprint 4.4%. So we preach, we like to practice, that's what we're working on that as a matter of fact. We have to work on the footprint so that disability can able to come. 70% of the non-communicable diseases come from the air pollution. 30% come from the water pollution. 20% come from the chemicals and all these things. Even the water, which has got fluoride content, you got anything like that, they are suffering much more. Recently, we found out in the Institute of Science, the VHS Center, water content of surrounding Bangalore, it has got thousands times higher radium. Cancer and all this is going to be higher and higher. And why it comes? There is no rainwater in that one. There is no land, the water, the surface water, in the hard rock. I think the black stone, what we call that? Granite. Granite stone releasing that. Granite stone releases more radon than any other. Every house we have got a granite. That emits a lot of cancer producing gas, as a matter of fact. So these are certain things we can do that. So educate the society so that reduce the disability by changing our mode of transport and also reducing the carbon footprint. The time is over. Okay. Now, second thing, alternate energy has to come. So we are all working for that. I think by 30% all the vehicles going to be electrical by 2030. And 2070 carbon footprint going to be zero, balanced. That's what our Prime Minister said. The second thing is what is existent carbon dioxide that is causing a lot of disability, not only this one, memory, baldness, cancer, diabetes, behavior change, memory, all these things, disability come from the pollution. We have to tackle that one. Which already countries, well, developed countries contributed, they have to contribute. So now they have agreed for it. So 13 countries, we are going to do. Third is how to manage that one. That transport comes there. People who have been affected, we are working on that one. All of you mentioned about it. I think it has to be, transport is very important. And also any city is said is a good city for a person. You should think about how good your footpath is, how good your drains are, how clean your drains are, how it cares for your children and elderly people. Are the city is anything like, we have to work on that. Not only normal people cannot walk in footpaths. Imagine if people with a stick, anything like that. More of the accident will happen there. More disability will come there. As the longevity of life increases, as you said, definitely problem going to be more and more. Wheelchair going to be more and more. And these are all the things you have to think of it. We rapidly grown. We are responsible. Population growth, we have to look for that. That's another thing. So these people who have been affected, transport is very important. It has to be affordable, accessible, and easily available. I think law has come into our handy. I think July 2021. It is in Chennai. Chennai High Court declared that all the government bought the buses, unless you have adopted the something safety for the handicapped people, we are not going to allow it. I think our Karnataka government has taken lesson in that one. We are working on that. We are very thankful for that. So I think we should all work for that. Since safety of it is affordable, it should be affordable. Affordable. And this is one of the important, motility is the most important one of the factor for human person to live with the dignity and decorum. We thank you very much for giving a few minutes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Parmesh, for those very interesting revelations. Over to Riaz Hussain, who heads the physiotherapy at the Mobility India. And in fact, their training center in Bangalore is a typical example of a accessibility and disability friendly office that they have. We have visited that several times, so I can say that it's true, that it's very accessible to everyone who comes in there. Over to you, Riaz.
Good evening, everyone. And we are very glad that we are in front of you all. And yes, Mobility India, I'm proudly saying, Mobility India has created an accessible building for special need people. I invite all of you to visit our center and have an experience how it looks and how it is designed. And it has been 27 years for us, and it has reached to a maximum level where unreached people with disability in village, maybe in India, and some parts of other countries. I'm very happy and honored to share our work in this sector, disability and their physical rehabilitation, and also educating professionals on this area. Like you can mention it, prosthetist, orthotics courses in different levels. It can be at the grassroots certified professionals to a graduates or a master graduates. And these courses are also certified under international recognizations called ISPO. And also we are got an excellent professionals who is certified for appropriate devices, including wheelchair, prosthetics, orthotics, and also positional devices. Why I'm talking about these devices? These devices can make a change in people with disability to meet their specific needs. It could be a school, job, health, or it can be a social gathering, or it can be empowering a person to live his life riding a two-wheeler, riding a four-wheeler, riding a four-wheeler, three-wheeler, or even gone to a six-wheel. With an appropriate device, people can make a difference in their life, including which area we are talking about, transportation. There are people with disabilities are part of this transportation. They're riding their vehicles as their life-saving work. Maybe they're leading their life with those auto drivers. Many disabled with people are driving their vehicles with an appropriate device. So doctor rightly said, including right brain and left brain can help people with any community, you can say for that. I truly agree with you, sir. Like how many of us are seen in this Bangalore city, in our home, if you go to the walk in the morning or evening, you can see a lot of vehicles in our home, like left, right, you can see 4 or 5 cars. And no roads in Bangalore without vehicles. You all agree with me? Yeah. So it is nothing. We are doing a problem to a traffic, or you are making a problem. We are one of them. We should not forget that we are one of them, making a difference or creating a can be a challenges. I don't say it as a problem, challenges. So what my point here is, so we all know what has to be done. In COVID, we all experienced this 2 years. How many of us went out? But we all survived. And how many new jobs are created today because of COVID? So there is a lot of change, there is a lot of scope for improvement. So I believe more in research and innovation. So as a part of innovation, I've worked with even IAC startup companies and IIT Madras, and IIT Guwahati, and IIT Delhi, we work on the appropriate device development. These device development can make a change in existing transport system and create a friendly or accessible, and it suits to everyone. As we are hearing another speaker, he also mentioned that everyone should be part of this change. I completely agree with you. And also we have one more speaker said about user need. Yes, user need is so specific, individualized, and it has to be considered and modified as per that particular need. So all these solutions are so individualized, personalized. That's why we are not able to reach a maximum people. But yes, as a country, we are able to serve those who are access to this NGOs, like what we are eminent speakers are here. Some of the organizations, some of the government sectors are also contributing some percentage. I believe that individuals customization, individualized modification to individual groups can make a change in this challenge. That transportation, I believe it is not a challenge. I mean, it's not a problem, it is a challenge. So we can make a change in this area. It only needs innovation and participation of all the left domain, left brain and right brain should work together to meet this challenge and make it possible that whatever issues we are saying about pollution, we can reduce all of them with innovation and research. With these two words, I'll end my talk and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. May I now request all the panelists to give us just one takeaway or one line that you would tell our audience as an inspiration. Can I start with you, George?
Yeah, one thing I would say is like each of us can actually contribute to this accessibility in one way or other. There is nobody in this system because what I would say is like you take anybody, a child, a grandparent, an IIT professor, a train driver, talk to anybody and everybody. Everybody can contribute to this particular accessibility issues. And so every problem that we are having should be taken up by everybody. So that is what, I mean, when all these come together, when all these people come together, no, solutions will automatically happen.
Thank you. Praveen?
I think accept there is an issue, please, everybody, and start saying from your home, because everything starts from home. So if you make sure that your home is aware about this, your street is aware, your village is aware, your city or town is aware, our state or national is aware. So awareness starts from home. I request everybody go home. What happened today? Don't share your WhatsApp images or don't share about your photographs you took here. Share what you learn here and explain them. There is a serious issue in public transport for universal accessibility. Make sure that your child is going to talk tomorrow in play area, and make sure that your kid is going to talk in school or college, and this has to be talk and this has to be end in one day, and we have to make inclusive India. That's my feedback. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Dr. Parmesh?
Let each one teach one what we have to do it. While coming to the research, think locally, act locally, and propagate the good result globally. And let us not show sympathy, let us show empathy and work together for a cause. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mohan?
When we speak about universal accessibility, we're looking at making this accessible right from an environment, the products and the services. But the key in making all this is, we need to look at intervention that can bring about a behavioral change. Unless and until there's a behavioral change, I don't think so we can see much of change. There are already a lot of policies. There are a lot of compliance and regulations, but why it has not happened? So everybody in the ecosystem has to undergo that behavioral change. Only then we can start seeing the difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohan. Riyas?
I can say I'm very lucky. I got 4 points to take home. And definitely, I believe in innovation. And to get innovation, you should listen to the person who is there next to you, see what you want, and then come back and talk to expert, take it, and then see what best can be done. It is possible, it is possible, it is possible.
Thank you, friends. I hope the panel discussion was of interest to you. And yes, our takeaway from here is that we begin with ourselves. We start the change and the change will follow. And the best place to be to create this change or this lasting impact is Rotary. I invite all the non-Rotarians to be part of Rotary as an organization because we want to do that to society only with joining hands with all of you. I especially acknowledge the presence of Prasanna Kumari and other Rotarians present here this evening who have spent time with us, to be with us, to support this organization. Thank you all very much. Just over to you, Kranti.